Me and my bats. And my little bat.
Look at my little bat. You're such a bat.
And we got a bat cup. And y'all know I got a bat tattoo, huh? Did y'all know that? I got a bat tattoo. I love bats. It's freaking bats. In the beginning of one of my videos last month, I said something about Ryan Ross. The Ryan Ross girlies rose up in the comments. I just have one thing to say. The Karma Police cover. If you're a Radiohead girly, please, I know Brendan Urie sucks, but look up the cover of Karma Police by Panic at the Disco. It's life-changing, honestly. Fuck that abusive man, but Ryan Ross. The little, but it's better if you don't, parts that he layered over the top. Like, it's genius, okay? So anyway, getting into it. Hey guys, it's Haley and welcome to another bookish video. Today we're going to be getting into my October TBR. October is my favorite month of the year, so I'm so excited for all of the Halloween coded spooky books that I'm going to be getting into this month. Although it is a very emotional, difficult time for me, I am still really excited to read these books. If you're on my Patreon, then you already kind of know the gist, but I do just want to let y'all know here on YouTube, I have a few announcements about Happy Hailey-ween, which is the week-long readathon that I usually host every October. Unfortunately, this October, I am not going to be hosting the readathon. I'm actually going to be moving the week that I was supposed to host it, so there's just no way that I'm gonna be reading. I have to move over 1,500 books from my library and like my whole fucking house, and this was very unexpected, and I have a lot of like life changes going on right now that have been happening behind the scenes for a while, but obviously y'all don't know about my life, so you wouldn't know. Please know that I'm doing well. I'm actually doing really great, and throughout all the changes, I'm just so happy to be coming back to myself and my independence. Although I am really disappointed that we won't get to have Hailey-ween. Who knows? Maybe we'll have to do like Hailey-ween in July or something like that to make up for it, but we will be reading an extra spooky group book on my Patreon in order to make up for that, which of course I'll let you know about. But yeah, that is kind of the big announcement that I wanted to get out of the way, because obviously in my October TBR I was supposed to share Hailey-ween information. If you're looking for that, I'm so sorry. Happy Hailey-ween 2024 is canceled. But that is totally fine. We're gonna get through, because I'm just mood reading in the month of October. I'm not gonna plan any vlogs or anything. Obviously I'm moving and I'm going through it right now, so I don't want to put any harsh plans on me. I just have like a group of 15 spooky books that I would like to read this month, so let's go ahead and get into it. We're gonna start out with this book, which I recently hauled. It's called My Darling Dreadful Thing by Joanna Van Veen. One of the girlies on my Patreon, Dawn, read this and gave it 5 stars. We usually always like the same books. If she gives something 5 stars, I'm probably gonna give it 5 stars as well. And I love the tagline. It says, "If the dead can wake and walk among us, how can we know what is truly real?" I love horror that like messes with reality and perception, so I think I'm gonna really like this, especially because the plot is giving like weird queer bisexual like challengers situation, but with a ghost. So it says, Ruse Beckman has a spirit companion that only she can see. Ruth, strange, corpse-like, and dead for centuries, is the light of Ruse's life. That is, until the wealthy young widow, Agnes Coop, visits one of Ruse's backroom seances and the two strike up a connection. Soon, Ruse is whisked away into the crumbling estate Agnes inherited upon the death of her husband, where an ill woman haunts the halls, strange smells drift through the air, and mysterious stone statues reside in the family chapel. Something dreadful festers in the manor, but the attraction between Ruse and Agnes is undeniable. Then someone is murdered. Poor alone and with a history of hysterics, Roos is the obvious culprit. With her sanity and innocence in question, she'll have to prove who or what is at fault or lose everything she holds dear. So Roos, Ruth, and Agnes all have these interconnected relationships, and there's a murder. Yep. I'm gonna love it. I also have a couple short story collections because I love reading short story collections in October. I read one last year called, oh my god, what the fuck is it called? It was called The Wrong Thing, and I don't even have it on my shelves anymore because I sent it to my friend because I loved it so much I wanted her to read it too. It's not out of the closet because that's the fucking thrift store. I will put a picture of the book on the screen. When I read that collection last year, I absolutely loved it. It's queer reflections on the most iconic horror movies of all time and why horror is so important to queer people. And so I have a similar collection to read this year. Now we have Queer Little Nightmares, an anthology of monstrous fiction and poetry. So this is going to be all like creature feature queer content. It's short. It's only like 100 pages. I'll just read it in an evening and eat it up, I'm sure. And then we have another collection here. I've seen this a lot recently on Bookstagram, at bookstores, like local bookstores in Austin, and it looks like a lot of people are enjoying it. This is Body Horror on Capitalism, Fear, Misogyny, and Jokes, which I love the sound of that combination. It's by Anne Elizabeth Moore, and it's a little anthology of different musings all based around body horror, which I feel like is perfect for October. I also love body horror. I've been craving some good cathartic gore, so I'm hoping this is gonna give me that, with a side of like insights and jokes apparently. Next up, I have a favorite of y'all's from last October. So many of y'all read this during Happy Hailey-ween 2023, and I told y'all I was gonna read it for Hailey-ween this year. I kind of lied, but I am still gonna read it. And that is The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sangu Mandana. And this is like spooky and Halloweeny. Obviously, it's about witches, but it's also a warm, uplifting novel about an isolated witch whose opportunity to embrace a quirky new family and a new love changes the course of her life. And I think this is just gonna be so cozy, so cute. Apparently it's just so heartwarming, and I think I'm gonna need to break up some of the intensity that I have on this TBR, so this will be good for me. Let's take a little segue and get into the books I'll be reading over on Patreon. Obviously we have our monthly Pretty Girl Book Club pick, which this month it is Incidents Around the House by Josh Malerman. I've been hearing such amazing things about this book, and I love Josh Malerman. I loved his book Pearl. I love House at the Bottom of the Lake. Oh my god, I love Josh Malerman. And this one is about a creepy little child. To 8-year-old Bella, her family is her world. There's mommy, dado, grandma Ruth, and other mommy, okay, it's giving Coraline, a malevolent entity who asks her every day, can I go inside your heart? Other mommy is growing tired of asking Bella the question over and over, but Bella understands that unless she says yes, her family will soon pay. Other mommy is getting restless, stronger, and bolder. Only the bonds of family can keep Bella safe, but the cracks in her parents' marriage are starting to show, and the safety Bella relies on is about to unravel. Oh my god. First of all, I think this is going to be scary. Second of all, I think emotionally it's going to wreck me. We will see. Can't wait to discuss with the girlies. The second little group read that we will be tackling in October to make up for the lack of Hailey-ween is What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher. This one is readily available on Kindle Unlimited, so if you want to participate and read along with us in October, you totally should. I will be doing some extra sprints and some fun videos over on Patreon because I really do feel so disappointed that I won't get to do the readathon. So if you want to be a part of the fun, as always, you can join my Patreon. It's linked down below, I believe in the description, because I got some question about this in my DMs. In my description, it says join my book club because I host my book club over on Patreon, but you don't have to join the book club tier. You can join the lower tier. You can also join the higher tier and get a queen video every single month, whatever you want. We will be reading What Moves the Dead over there as well. This one is another one that so many people people read last year for Happy Halloween. It says it's a gripping, atmospheric reimagining of Edgar Allan Poe's The Fall of the House of Usher. I don't know what The Fall of the House of Usher is, honestly. I'm just excited to read this. It's super short. It's gonna be body horror down, so you know I'm in. I also have, I'm so excited. I've been in my fantasy era, if you couldn't tell from my Fourth Wing vlog. If you missed my Fourth Wing vlog, I will link it up above and down below. And if you're interested in watching my Iron Flame vlog, the part 2 to my Fourth Wing video, it is also up on Patreon. I know I'm doing a lot of plugging, but girl, you know, I just gotta make it out here, so I'm just not forcing you, but I am letting you know it's available. So I am firmly in my fantasy era yet again. I also, oh my gosh, I don't think I've showed this on my channel. I have a wyvern tattoo now, so I really love it, and I'm just kind of obsessed. Little wyvern fantasy era girl. So on my October TBR, I have The Serpent and the Wings of Night. This is the next fantasy series that I'm wanting to get into. Obviously, it's more romantasy than actual fantasy because that's my vibe. It's enemies to lovers, vampires, humans, tension, hot guy, you know the situation. I also have one of my 5-star predictions that I made at the end of last year that I am working my way through steadily. I'm actually a little over 50 pages into this book, but I really want to prioritize it, not only because we're getting to the end of the year and I've only read half of my 5-star predictions for 2024, but also because the show adaptation actually just came out for this. So that is Uzumaki by Junji Ito. This is a horror manga and it is massive. Like this bind up, it's multiple of the installments, but it's huge. Obviously it's manga, so it's easy to read, but I don't know, something about the size of this is just really intimidating, but I really want to watch the show. Also because a very cute boy that I know is watching the show and I would like to have very intelligent thoughts about the show that I could share with him. So I will be finishing this one up in October. Another horror book I would love to get to this October is Cuckoo by Gretchen Felker Martin. I read Manhunt by Gretchen Felker Martin last year, again for Halloween. Can you tell I'm mourning? And I liked it, but I thought there was a little something missing. The pacing, the kind of like structure was just not as tight as it needed to be. So I have high hopes that this one is a little bit better. And this is about a conversion camp from hell. So queer horror set in the summer of 1995. 7 queer kids are abandoned by their parents at a remote conversion camp, but everyone leaves a different person. And 16 years later, only the scarred and broken survivors of that terrible summer can put an end to the horror before it's too late. The fate of the world depends on it. So it sounds like just a queer, I know what you did last summer, but it's going to be a lot bigger than that. I also have a few horror arcs that I want to read this month, starting out with Blood Like Mine by Stuart Neville. It says, on a snowy December night, single mother Rebecca Carter drives her van into a snowbank to avoid hitting an elk on a mountain highway. She's at the end of her rope, out of money and out of food. Still, she refuses help from a man. Good for her. And she's also with her adolescent daughter, Moonflower, and they're on the run from a grisly secret together. And they cannot afford to be remembered by anyone they meet. So she's like, even if I wanted help from a man, like, he cannot be knowing us right now. We're also following the FBI agent that is trying to find them, I guess, which has something to do with the secret that they're running from. So it's a deadly high-stakes game of cat and mouse where no one is safe and nothing is certain. Not even the line between predator and prey. And I'm really intrigued by that last line. I love a female character that's a little bit ruthless, maybe a little bit evil. So I'm hoping for some of that. Maybe these girly pops that are on the run are not quite the prey. I also have Our Winter Monster by Dennis Mahoney. And this is about a couple who is struggling in their relationship. They have been for about a year. And they're going on this trip together that they hope will save their relationship. But they lose control of the car in the snow on the way there. Now the sheriff is getting a call about a couple in trouble, along with a report of a brutal, mysterious creature rampaging through the town, leaving a trail of crushed cars, wrecked buildings, and mangled bodies in the snow. To Kendra, the sheriff, who lost another couple to the snow just 7 weeks prior. The danger feels personal, but not as personal as it feels to the couple who are starting to see the past, present, and themselves in a monstrous new light. Oh, yeah, yeah. The way that it's probably gonna fuck with time, the way that it's a monster, but like the monster is the trauma. Yeah, I'm into it. And the last arc I have here is I'll Be Waiting. This is by Kelly Armstrong, and we are following a woman with cystic fibrosis. She did not think that she was gonna make it as long as she has, but she does, and she meets this man who gives her hope for the future. However, he does die in a horrifying car crash, and his last words are, "I'll be waiting for you." But that private moment becomes public when someone puts it on the news or like reports it to the press. And that person claimed that it wasn't her love who had said this, but it was actually said by a ghost who was hovering over his body. Since the story went public, our main character is now hounded by all of these spiritualists, mediums, people that want to get her side of the story. And so she gets a medium to perform a seance and hopefully contact her lost love. And the medium has barely started the seance when things start happening. Locked doors opening, clouds of insects entering the house, and unbeknownst to everyone else, this isn't our main character's first time contacting the dead. I am so excited to get into this. I love a little like ghosty love story that has more sinister themes, and I think that's exactly what this is. Y'all know I have to have a couple thrillers. We can't do all horror even though it is October. I will be reading some thrillers this month. I'm super excited for While We Were Burning by Sarah Coffey. This is about a woman who hires another lady as her personal assistant, and unbeknownst to both of them, they're both kind of like using each other to solve their own personal tragedies because they're involved, but the other one doesn't know that the other knows. It's like sneaky women out for different motives that are personal to themselves, and they're using each other, and it's kind of giving me Not So Perfect Strangers by Ellis Stratton. One of the women is white and the other woman is black, and it's going to be touching on racial dynamics. I believe there was the black woman's son was killed by a cop, so there's definitely going to be some commentary in here, and y'all know I love a thriller that has a little something to say, so I'm looking forward to that. I also have The Best Lies by David Ellis. I absolutely loved Look Closer by David Ellis last year around Halloween time, so I'm gonna give his new release a go as well. And honestly, the plot does not sound good, I'm gonna be honest, but I have heard really good things about it. Apparently it's like scandalous, juicy, crazy characters doing insane things. The synopsis initially does not suck me in, okay? It's about this guy who's a pathological liar, and he's also a very powerful attorney. He gets involved with this gang. His fingerprints show up on the weapon that is next to a dead gangster. But the FBI is like, okay, this guy might have done it, but he also is this hotshot lawyer, so he might be the key to taking down the gang for good. I don't know, it literally sounds stupid. Like, I don't want to read that, but apparently it's really good. Aspen liked it, and I always trust Aspen. I hate this cover, but I don't know. Why am I showing you a book that I'm like, I don't want to read this? But I do, because I know it's going to be good, because I trust Aspen, but also like, what the fuck is this? And the last few books that we have here are just some backlist horror books that I pulled from my shelves that I'd love to get to this month. Starting out with Thirst by Marina Girl, I don't know. But it is a translated novel, translated by Heather Cleary, and this is some bisexual vampire shit, okay? You know I love that. It says across 2 different time periods, 2 women, 1 vampire, 1 mortal, confront a yearning that will not let them rest.
A yearning that will not let them rest.
Well, yes, like that's all I need to know. Apparently it's like vampiric Frankenstein with a feminist lens and also a little bit of sapphic vibes. Yeah, I would love this. I also have The Book of Accidents by Chuck Wendig. This is one that a lot of y'all recommended me over the past couple Halloweens that I just haven't picked up yet. It is literary horror about a family returning to their hometown and the dark past that haunts them there. Long ago, this guy named Nathan lived in a house in the country with his abusive father, and he never told his family what happened there. Long ago, Maddie was a little girl making dolls in her bedroom when she saw something that she shouldn't have. Long ago, something sinister and something hungry walked in the tunnels and the mountains and the coal mines of rural Pennsylvania. Now Nate and Maddie are married and they have moved back to their hometown with their son, Oliver. Now what happened long ago is happening again, and it's happening to Oliver. A strange boy who he meets has a ton of secrets and a taste for dark magic. This dark magic puts them at the heart of a battle for good versus evil to fight for the souls of his family. Well, this sounds a lot bigger than I initially thought. Wow, that kind of sounds crazy, but I'm really intrigued. It's pretty long, but I'm really gonna try to get to this one in October. And the last book that I want to talk with you about for my October TBR is Lakewood by Megan Giddings. This is one that I honestly haven't heard much about, but I found it at Half Price Books a couple trips ago, and it sounded exactly up my alley. It's about these kind of like, what do they call it? Like a minute into the future or something like that. No, it's not a minute. I don't know what they refer to it as, but it's like futuristic books that aren't that far off, like Black Mirror vibes. And this company is doing really unethical experiments on Black bodies. Like some of the things they're doing is trying to find a cure for dementia, golden pills promise to make all bad thoughts go away, things that change your eye color, etc. And a college girl gets wrapped up in it when she starts to realize the corruption and the horribleness that is happening at this company, and she's going to try to take them down. It is giving that one season of AHS with the pregnant people in space to me. So I'm hoping it gives that. And that is everything I want to read in October. As for like vlogs and content that you can expect this month, girl, I literally have no idea. You can't expect a moving vlog. You can't expect a set up my new library with me video, bookshelf reorganization, all of that. So get excited for that. As for vlogs, I'll probably just be mood reading a bunch of spooky stuff, and I hope y'all like that. I don't know if y'all like themed vlogs, like the thriller vlogs and horror vlogs and all of that, or if you're cool with me just mood reading. I don't know. We're gonna have to feel things out this month. It's my favorite month of the year, but we're going through a lot, so we will just have to see. Thank you guys for coming along the ride with me. I love you so, so much, and thank you for watching this video. If you're interested in joining my Patreon, like I mentioned, it's down below, so don't forget to check that out. Of course, don't forget to like this video if you liked it, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and don't forget to go to therapy and read a book this week. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!